Hi, everyone. Let me quickly introduce the presentation of today. Today, I will walk you through the value of language in finance. Basically, the idea of this presentation is to focus on words and language in finance and the importance they cover rather than just numbers, because every time we think about finance, we just associate in our brain numbers. But that's not the case, because if you're thinking about how much language is important in finance, that will open your mind. So first of all, thank you for joining. I'm Pamela Negosanti, and I'm head of sales and sector strategy for financial services at Explainable.ai. I just mentioned that language powers our business, right? And basically powers every type of business. It doesn't care if you're in the insurance, banking, information, or life science sector. You are experiencing a lot of growth in terms of data. And that's about policies, quotes, emails, mortgage, articles. There's a lot of language that we process every day. So that's definitely a common assessment. So language powers business, every business, but it poses unique challenges, right? So language data is really very complicated to manage today, and indeed, it's mostly handled by humans. And that's making this type of activity really time-consuming, prone to errors potentially and inconsistencies because there's a lot of variability. And if you think about the time span on low added value tasks, that's completely disproportional if you compare it to the expertise of people. The process of scaling language-driven processes that are allowed in the finance industry is extremely difficult, right? Also because the expertise you have in the team is not easy to be acquired and it's not distributed all the same. And if we look at the progress to date, the technology available is really bad at language data understanding, because words are not numbers, right? If we look at words, there's some ambiguity and interpretation that we can apply, and that's not the case for numbers. Technology typically used to approach language understanding, like OCR, ICR, RPA, and image capture, they are not really understanding data, right? In language, they are more or less trying to extract some pieces of information. But what they miss is really the embedded knowledge. And that's the reason for machines struggling in understanding documents. At Explainable.ai, we are really able to understand language. And language is not just a unique topic. Language for us is split in two main areas and pillars. There's the first piece that is the natural language comprehension and understanding. And that's typically done through the disciplines we used to learn at school: grammar, syntax, and the common knowledge. But then there's the business language, right? So if you're analyzing finance documents, you need to understand this business to make sure you go deep in the understanding. There's specific concept, there's specific terminology, and that's about the business language. At Explainable.ai, we're able to understand both those languages so that we can enable you to scale your business. But let me quickly show you through a live demo, how does it work, right? Because one thing is theory and another one is practice. So let me quickly pick a very fresh article that's from April the 5th, and it's coming from Bloomberg. It's about prospective hires, right? And you have some news here. I'm just copy and paste this plain text article to our standard natural language API, and I'm just analyzing the document. No trained data basically, and as you can see, performance is very good. So the document is already processed, and here you can see the disambiguation process. So basically, each and every single token is receiving a grammar type, right? Whether it is a pronoun, whether it is a noun, an adjective, a verb, and so on. The very relevant piece of it is that the system is able also to detect out of the box again the key elements, and the key elements are grouped by types. So you can have the main lemmas, and each one is coming with a score, right? You can have the main sentences, so the sentences that are playing a big role in the document, and it's a kind of summarization if you want, right? Because just by reading 3 small sentences, you can get a flavor of the entire meaning and the topics that are discussed in the article. You can have the phrases and also the concept, basically, right? So it's not just about words, but the meaning they express. You can have entities extracted out of the box. So here you can see all the person names, the places, right? That could be associated to coordinates too. And there's a lot of information that are detected with no customization, as I was mentioning before. There's also the classification piece. So the system is able to apply a standard taxonomy. In this case, is the IPTC standard taxonomy for media topics, right? And you can see the label assigned, the frequency, and the ID, right? What is very relevant is that just by clicking on the label of the category, you can land on the pieces of text that let us to come to this conclusion, and that's very relevant. So it's what we call explainable AI, and you can go further in the information that are detected by clicking on the relations. So each and every single sentence is really analyzed in depth, and you can see all the relationship in terms of subject, direct object, for example, and other elements that complete the understanding of each and every single sentence. Another piece of information is the sentiment, right? And there's an overall sentiment detected out of the article, and that's basically the attitude of the article itself. So the not just the meaning, but also the words and the flavor they express throughout the article, and then you have it really aggregated by the single entity. And as I was mentioning, this is all coming out of the box. You can just copy and paste a simple article, a document, and see exactly the entities, the classification, the relationship, and the disambiguation piece. The outcome you will receive is a very detailed and rich JSON with all the information in terms of frequency, score, and confidence, right? And that's just to give you a very high level overview of what I meant by live demo, right? So I mentioned the capability really to extract value out of document. And that was done just on a single document, a newspaper article. Imagine you can do it on your own email or attachment or other type of information that really fuel your process and business. Let me quickly go back to the presentation and continue with the flow, right? So just to summarize what you just saw and to open a little bit the door of what there's behind the scenes. What is making us unique from a technological perspective is basically 2 pillars of our technology that I just showed through our NL API. The first piece is the disambiguation. So it's a set of algorithms that are applying all the analysis that I mentioned before: parsing, cleaning, sentence analysis, part of speech, syntactical analysis, and semantic analysis, right? So the final step is really to assign a unique meaning to each and every single element in a document, right? And to make it happen, of course, there's the second pillar that is integral and fundamental, that is the knowledge graph. The knowledge graph is an in-house developed knowledge graph, very dense in terms of coverage and the concept contained in it. And the beauty of it is the fact that it was created by humans, supported by technology, of course, and it is extensible. When it comes to knowledge, we realize the importance of combining machine learning techniques with human capability, because there's some nuances that are really kept by humans in our vision, right? So we have a very strong team of terminologists that maintain the knowledge graph to make sure that it reflects and mirrors the reality, because knowledge is a reflection of reality. It's available in 12 languages, and that's also a very important information. Just a summary and a synopsis of the main natural language understanding capability we saw. There's the entity extraction, the relationship extraction, categorization, summarization, sentiment analysis, and also personally identifying information that is part of our NL API that you can try. Few examples about the financial services and some of our success stories, because I think they're very helpful to imagine and realize the concrete and tangible benefits. Rabobank internalized AI technology to streamline all the processes that are based on unstructured data. And there's a lot of information they are processing, mainly coming through inbound communication via email. There's a lot of communication they receive via email, and they struggle because the team was at capacity, and unless they hired more, they were not able to reply timely to all the customers. That's not only a matter of operational efficiencies and cost saving, of course, but there's a lot in terms of benefit towards your customer. By reducing the processing time, you're offering a better customer experience, and then you can really improve the retention or reduce the churn in some cases. These are some of the KPI and benefits that this customer shared with us. Another example is in the information services area, right? Once you have information publishers that need really to collect a lot of information in terms of data points to extract insight, this is where we help, right? So we basically automate the tagging, content classification, information extraction, so that they are able to connect the dots and to provide high quality extraction data to their customers. Here you can see another set of potential representative use cases in the financial services. And these are representative use cases because if you think about where language is in the processes, sky's the limit, right? There's a lot of new and emerging new use cases that could really benefit from natural language understanding techniques and technology. These are some of the very representative one, where you have email and ticket management, customer interaction in an omni-channel strategy, right? It doesn't matter which is the channel you're using. It could be a chat, transcripts, an email, right? But the important piece is that you can really use technology to automate the customer interaction and to really do better analytics on your customers to better know them, right? And predict something too. Mortgage and collections, business onboarding, know your customer and adverse news analysis, and non-performing loans. All these are some of the potential area where you could really apply concretely natural language understanding. A recap of our unique selling point. We are offering different type of technologies combined. This is what we call unique hybrid natural language. It's available in 12 languages, and it's really intuitive and easy to be used in terms of capability and skills you need, right? So we are really offering and democratizing AI not only for data scientists, but also for business analysts. It's practical, and it's based on tangible results, not just experimentation. It could be very flexible, cloud or on-premise, and it's explainable. It's smart from the start, and that's what we can offer thanks to our knowledge graph. So the time to value and the time to delivery is really short if compared to other type of techniques. And we offer a platform approach, right? So meaning that you can really tackle all the use cases you have with a unified approach. This is our additional example and references, just to reinforce the message that we are really focused on results. And my suggestion for you is just to try our X.AI NL API. It's free, right? And that will enable you to really start immediately using our API without spending time in navigating complicating things, right? The message that I would like to use to close my speech is that you have to try it now because time is now, right? So I'm firmly convinced that finance industry, if won't apply immediately natural language understanding and won't be able to extract value from data and from language that will be far behind, right? So this is really a competitive advantage to stay on the market. Thank you for your time.